tried to convince me it was all in my head, and I felt like it's not you, it's me instead. I wanted to rock with you, roll with you. Said you was my baby girl, then you left me too. Everything was kosher, perfect like a poster. Then I got word that you wanna lead a picture. Off with somebody else, off with the jerk. With the shame on me, I really thought that it could work. Off with somebody else, off with the loser. Shame on me, I really thought we had a... Lately I be having conversations with myself, cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. I be having conversations with myself, cause I feel like I have nobody to turn to. Everything was green light, now we got the red. Could've had somebody else, chose you instead. I be having conversations with myself, cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. Everything was green light, now we got the red. Could've had somebody else, chose you instead.
Your mic pause, Yahsonn. Yahsonn, your mic pause.
Hi, global greetings, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Topics here on Real Entertainment Network. I want to say good evening, Oli. I want to say good evening to Amiga. That's the indigenous names for St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to say good evening to St. Thomas and Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, Antigua, Dominica, St. Martin, Montserrat, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Guyana, Grenada, wherever you are locked in throughout the entire Eastern Caribbean. I want to say good evening to all the folks of the morning or good day. And then where you are, whether you're in Taiwan, Sri Lanka, Russia, Afghanistan, Taiwan. It's a pleasure having you locked in here with us. You could be doing anything else, but you're locked in here with us on Real Entertainment Network. I want to encourage you to log on to our Facebook platform. This live broadcast is streamed on Twitch TV, Facebook, and YouTube simultaneously. So we want to encourage folks to go on over to the YouTube platform and subscribe to the YouTube platform. We have quite a very interesting discussion coming your way this evening. We've got my regular host, that's Bankie Shabbos King, and we have our special guest this evening, Chi Kairo. Let's hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. We are looking forward to having a very interesting discussion this evening. So I really look forward to the engagement. I'm going to be talking to you for the first time, so I'm going to be learning more about you as we go through this and learning more about what has inspired you to make the move or moves that you are making presently. So, with that said, I'm going to introduce my other host, that's Bankie Shabbos King, and then I will introduce Chi Kairo to the listening audience. So, folks, remember the numbers to call in. They're sliding across the screen: 869-665-8459 or 869-662-7196. Those are the numbers to call in if you want to be a part of the program. And we do pay attention to the comments. We read your comments, and so we look forward to engaging through the comment section as well. So, Bankie, greetings. Welcome to another edition of Topics.
Yahsonn, greetings and greetings to those who tuning in to the Topics. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in on another Tuesday. Also, greetings to our guests, Chi Kairo. Greatly appreciate you making it and coming to share some information with the listening and viewing audience. Let me say good evening to the folks in Oli and Layamiga, which is the ancient name for St. Kitts and Nevis. So hopefully one of these days we'll get everything changed, all legal documents and everything within the ancestral name, which is very important. Also good evening to the folks in the neighboring islands, Sabre, Statia, St. Martin's, the U.S. Virgin Islands, on the BVI, Also the folks over in Montserrat, Antigua and Barbuda, not forgetting Bermuda itself. We have some folks resided here, I mean, very nice, beautiful people. Also the folks within the Windward Island, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, and all throughout up to North America, from the Florida Keys up to Maine, not forgetting Atlanta, Chicago, New York, Boston, and all the rest, and also the folks over in Europe, Asia, wherever you are, especially in different time zones. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. Whatever is appropriate, good morning, good afternoon. Thanks for listening. The topics this evening were up some real discussion with this young gentleman who have put up himself for public office. So definitely we want the whole of St. Croix to support this youth in his endeavor, because it could be any one of us. It's time that we change the status quo and stop looking for those lawyers, doctors type of stereotype, like only those can represent us. Each and every one of us can represent ourselves and serve the people, because yes, there will come a lot of talking here and there and different stuff, but at the same time, you should be judged by your works and don't have to brag what you do and what not, like that. You have to keep it straight with the people, so even the blind can see these things. So even the blind can represent the people. You just have to have the will to do well and stick to that. So Yahsonn, greatly appreciate, that we have this young man here that's standing up, because obviously he have seen a lot, so he's gonna let us know his experience and what brought him to all the different stuff. So Chi Kairo, welcome to the Topiks. Enough respect.
It is a honor. It is an honor. Bankie, Yahsonn, I am greatly thankful for the time and the invite. Good day and good evening to anybody and everybody around wherever you are, tapping in, tuning in. Once again, some wise men I am amongst right now. I've been learning so much over time since I've tapped in with you guys, and I feel so confident now, even more so having attention that what's going on, we all can share and express the same things that we all are going through all across the Caribbean. To have to see shine some spotlight and getting support even from you all has been amazing. This is something that I haven't expected. Our plans is our plans, but the mother and father, this world is plans is always greater. So, with that being said, I want to actually start this off with a word of silence and interceding. First, I want to give thanks unto our mother and father, this universe, of this greatly all that we was put on. I want to shout out and give all big shout out and respect to our creator, to Yahsonn, to Bankie, and everybody who is here with us. Prosperity unto our heart, mind, and spirit. I want everybody to feel what we are going to speak on tonight, and I ask that you, creator, please always stay with us, walk with us, speak for us, and continue to open our eyes to the things that we need to see to help us continue with our steps forward, so we can make sure we clear a clear path and a strong, secure foundation for the next generation to come. So large up again, once again, Yahsonn and Bankie, thanks again. St. Kitts and Nevis, I got to take a trip over there. I got to come and embrace it. I got to embrace it. The land, I got to embrace it, because I've been speaking on it for quite a while. So I don't want to keep speaking on it anymore. I have to make that move soon enough. But now I feel so much confident to come now.
Most of my summers in high school in the 90s is St. Croix Day. If any St. Croix in Miami, okay. So Castle, Coakley, Peters West, you understand? Grove, William Delight,
right,
baseball keeping and the tournament. Yeah, man. Yeah, so
I feel like I seen you somehow, somewhere. I feel like I seen you or met cross path with you, Bankie.
Yeah, man. And similarly,
St. Croix is like home. It's home for me. We learned to play baseball with my cousins them who is, into sport and get scholarships of sports. But my people them over with them ends down there. So I when they have carnival sometime I down there in Christmas time and that kind of vibe. So yeah man, and now the whole of Castle Coke cleans there.
That's right. Large up Castle Coakley and everybody over there from west to east. Everybody in St. Thomas, St. John, Tola, and Negada. Yeah. So.
Likewise, same way. I spent a lot of my summers, back then too, between St. Thomas and St. Croix. So I got some family who used to, I don't know if you know, like there are some people who used to sell fruits and veggie by 2+2. They used to sell by Lorraine and, those my people, So I spent a lot of time, between Harborview, Shabbat, and Kennedy, in them parts over there. So St. Thomas, well, you based in St. Croix, right?
Yeah, I based in St. Croix. Mainly, I from the beautiful place called Grove Place. I raised up. I was brought up in Grove Place and in the countryside in the rainforest. Also in Frederickstead. I had spent a lot of time with a lot of family I have in Frederickstead. So as far as up in Cambridge, estate to friend with my grandmother from. It's memories upon memories, man. In life we do carry memories and create footsteps. So all through these regions, still they got places I ain't seen yet, So in St. Croix.
Well, maybe we should do this. Maybe we should let you start from telling us a little bit about Chi Kairo, like where you're from and a little bit of your backstory. Yeah, we can start there and then we build up, from there. So let us know the little backstory.
Well, born and raised, I was brought up. I won't drag up. I was brought up right there, home of St. Croix in Grove Place, 106 Grove Place. My neighbor string there, right there in the art, right there in Grove Place. So I'm rooted. My grandmother, Leona Brady Watson, she was a tradition bearer, culture bearer. I have to acknowledge her in everything because she taught me a lot. She's the one who brought me up. My grandfather as well, Cornel Watson, was an educator. He was in the army as well. He was in the military. He was in the Korean War as well. They said that was one of the bloodiest wars. And he was able to teach me a lot of discipline from a young age, but they gave me a lot from a young age. Coming up in St. Croix, as far as my background, everybody related to everybody. So his family, we was brought up, with the term, it take a village to raise a family. Why mommy they're working, why, still the neighbor or your cousin or your friend them, mother them, they still making sure you're good, they still making sure you eat or you're staying in line. So that's the time I come up in Grove. And as far as experiencing Hurricane Hugo was my first experience, and as I really don't remember a whole heap around that time. But as far as that was my first time leaving, for emergency reasons, as far as finding they say refuge or they had FEMA involved and getting people off the island, the emergency situation throughout that time. So I stayed away quite some time. I was able to experience Canadian life because I went to Toronto and I learned there was a lot of Caribbean people over there as well. And so the reason why I'm even saying this is because I've had a lot of experiences as well, not just in St. Croix, but in places like Canada, all over America, few places in the Caribbean as well, South America. And I've seen different and heard different languages, but seen a lot of things, relative things that we have in common. So I've learned things over time about myself. And the background I come from, like I said, my grandmother and my people is educators, tradition bearer, culture bearers. They preserve So I come from a lineage of people who stood up and fought for people and took care of people, educated people, and preserve the culture and the heritage of of the Virgin Islands. So I'm very rooted old school. You could say I have an old soul, but getting more into as I got older, I got into music. I was a shepherd boy. My grandmother, she brought me up farming. She brought me up farming with as well with doing carousel. She had a carousel band. She did quadrille. She brought up Stanley and the 10 Sleepless Nights as well. You know, she's very well respected in the community as far as, you know, how a small community, everybody know everybody, but she played a major role in everybody's life. So that is something I picked up on with her, connecting with people, being open, learning about our culture, she always taught me never to stay silent. She always taught me to always stand up for what you know, not what you believe, but what you know. She always taught me to make sure everything that she gave to me, you preserve it and pay it forward. So I was brought up on moral, a good foundation. Shout out to my people them. Getting towards my life in education, I went all the way up to 10th grade, and you know the system wasn't doing too good. The system was failing at that point. Teachers were striking. We had no classes. A lot of our credits and things like that was being affected. So that's when I started to realize more about the system. I always been against certain things. I never really was. You could say I was a rebel to things. I always thought everybody went this way. I always wanted to know why before I went that way, not just follow. So I always was a person to try and learn and understand things before I made my decision. I was a thinker, still am. So just getting into that, that's when I started taking care of my grandfather who had cancer while I stepped away from school, the school system. And I got closer with him as a young adolescent. While I was doing that, I could have been doing anything else. I probably could have been running around, getting in trouble, or being on the outside, doing God knows what. But I had a mission from young, you could say. So I was taking care of my family from young, from the age of 13, 14. I was doing that, but really from 14 after, I was traveling with my grandfather, making sure he was at all his appointments and making sure his safety and he was secure and everything was paid. So I grew up fast. You could say, while everybody was trying to figure out what they were doing. You know, and I came back. My grandmother had Alzheimer's too. So I learned about empathy, Yahsonn and Bankie. I was able to pick that up and see what it was like to lose your liberty. I watched my grandmother lose who she forgot who I was, who everybody was. She didn't even know who she was over time. I did learn time is very precious, and the things and the people that you cannot grant it. You cannot take for granted. My people gave me so much love and knowledge, and I had a lot of rough times. I seen a lot of craziness too. You know, like we all. I grew up rough too. But when it came to genuine love and principles and things like that, my people, family was my intermediate family, such as my grandmother, grandfather, my mother, you know, my brothers, them, my father too. We were very tight knit. We had to make sure we look out for each other. If one mess up, all of we mess up. If one get in trouble, all of we get in trouble. You know how it is. So we all had to keep each other up. I come from a very strong foundation, you know. So again, I really just wanted to say I'm a proud son of the islands, and I create content on TikTok. You know, I blend commentary with comedy and culture. That's how I started. But at the heart, I really do speak the truth, Bankie and Yahsonn. I speak the truth. I want to speak truth and preserve. And while I do the preserving and making sure we try and preserve our identity, I've been using my voice to like shine a spotlight on what's been happening in this community and the good, even the good, the bad, and the truth that needs to be told. But I believe in the people. I believe in the power of our culture. I believe in accountability um, and healing here today because I love the place I call home and I want better for it, not just for us, but you know, for the next generations to come. So it's really I'm not it's not for no attention. That's what I want to say. This is really for a purpose. Actually, everything that happened like it just started happening. I asked the creator to whatever it is I need to do, let me do. I'm gonna do it for you. I'm gonna make sure whatever I have to do, I'm gonna do it at my best. Just open the doors, just clear the path for me to do it. And everything started happening as far as that. My first video I put out, which got me to really to this point, and the other videos was I was speaking truth. They had an incident that happened here, a young brother that was murdered on the boardwalk in Christiansted, and he was a well-known figure in the community, and it was a young guy about 14 years old or so was the person that did the crime. And I spoke on those things. I made certain points like we should have stronger police presence. You know, I had certain opinions, and I started to really say, you know what? We know there's so much things that's been going on. I've been hearing so much complaining on the radio. We've been talking so much about, you know, what's been the root problem of everything, but really haven't addressed it the way that we should, and really haven't gotten the right kind of transparency that we deserve, the people deserve. So that's why I came in. And I did a video. You know, it wasn't an emotional decision. It was really, I had some conversations with a handful of people, especially most of them were elderly people, some teachers, and it hurt me to hear where they were coming from and the things that they had to express. And the administration that we have running the government right now, along with the legislature, is a mess. It's a mess. And the things they were doing had nothing to do with fixing or putting the people first. So I had to use my voice in a way. I do music, by the way. I go by Chi Kairo as my music representation, my name. I used to be called China Black. I'm a Blasian. I elevated to Chi Kairo. Most people know me on the island for China Black. That's the reason why I said that. So those that don't know, only as Chi Kairo, who know me now as Chi Kairo, who used to know me as China Black. But I use my voice in music. I use my voice as an individual, as a hardworking man, as a father, as a brother, as a cousin, as a friend. You know. So yeah, Bankie and Yahsonn. This is why I'm here now. I've been able to use my voice, and now people asking the same person. They're asking the same person behind that voice to even take it further, but not because they ask. In my heart, every step that I take is for a reason. And everything that happened, every video I put out, it's really a reaction or a solution from something, from a problem. It's never just something I just want to get up and do. You know, if you see something, do something, be proactive. That's who I am. You understand? So,
Yeah, my brother. I'm listening to the story, and I am very much impressed with uh, the passion, the commitment, and recognizing that it is not something like, as you mentioned, that you know, like you just get up and think, well, okay, yeah, I want to be a politician, I want to be the governor. You know, it's like a calling. You put
Yeah, I saw the
it,
pain. I saw the pain and the silence, the disconnect growing in the community, you know. And I knew I had to say something or do something. My goal really is to preserve who we are, brothers. To call out what's hot in us and to help us move forward. It's with dignity and honesty. I'm not the best guy, you know. I go through my ups and downs, my highs and lows, you know. But the creator know what my heart is. The creator know what my heart is, and I know what my heart is. Sometimes I feel like I care about people more than they care about themselves, you know. And that's why I know I'm where I stand. I'm being a healer and a leader. So, yeah, son, I really am thankful, you know, for what you said. Stepping up, it's not an easy task, but every day we go through this life and the things that we deal with and the obstacles, them thing ain't easy. Life simple, you know. We can make it simple, but before we were even brought into this world, we were set up to fail. We were set up to not succeed.
so you said right that prior to this calling, you were an artist singing reggae,
Yes.
calypso, soca.
Oh, well, to be specific, I actually, you know, it was really not no genre. I was doing everything. I was doing reggae, dance hall, R&B. I did soul, you know, like. But I would sing with my accent, of course. But it would always be a fusion with the different genres. So they call it versatility and range. You could say I carry.
Okay.
I love
So
music. I love music.
so you did that. Yeah, are you still doing that? Are you still pursuing that?
Yes, yes. I actually pursue more in the business aspect, more in helping, more so in helping upcoming artists or upcoming producers or engineers or people that want to further themselves in career in the music as well. So right now I do have a music label. It's called Music Street ENT. It's been official for about over a year now. I do have a few artists. Shout out to Singer B. He's from the same neighborhood I come from. Still pushing with him. We have another young lady. She is a very young lady. I'm not going to disclose her name as yet, but she's being developed in the right way, respectfully to her family. She has a lot of time to improve and figure out exactly what she wants to do too. So, but you know, it's I'm still pursuing it. I've had a great time. My life was pretty interesting. You know, I would give our shout out and gratitude to our divine creator because and I've seen and been some amazing places that I've never thought. But you know why they say? I say we VI people, we Caribbean people are all over the place. So they can't keep we from they can't keep we from going anywhere, man. You know, I don't been right there with Stevie Wonder hanging out with he and all too, you know, and I never thought I would have been uh, in the presence of that from that generation, from that era is like why raise up hearing your vinyl and my mother them playing your music and I could name a handful just to see. So speaking of that, I was able to see the good and the bad and all the things like they was about with the Illuminati and with selling your soul and them thing. I didn't quite see that side because I didn't enter those doors. I didn't enter those rooms. I didn't enter those meetings. But I was surrounded by people who are part of those things. And, I learned to Yahsonn and Bankie watch out that music industry that we see. I've been around all of them. Chris Brown, I've been around even up to peers and all of that. I've been around them. And that industry is a painful, painful business, a painful judgment. People No wonder in scripture they say, what good is it to sell your gain the world and lose your soul? You know? And that's before before I was even here upon this earth. So now I go in there and see all kind of people just doing whatever. So I left. I walk away. Yahsonn, I walk away from that. I had a couple of deals. I had a deal with Motown Universal, with Sony Records, Sony BMG, Jive, a few other deals on the table too. But you know, I could tell you honestly, from there I went straight to take care of my grandmother. I walked my mother was telling me grandmother getting worse and she's doing everything on her own. Mommy still have to try and hold up the place and everything and do work. And so I say, you know what? Instead of forwarding in this work, like I said, I remember my mother saying, you know, what good is it to gain the world and lose your soul? I won't speak on the kind of things that was presented to me, but it was a lot of folly and a lot of nonsense that I didn't mind turning my back on. You know? So I came back home, I started taking care of my grandmother, and I took care of she every single day. My mother could tell you, give thanks to the Almighty to give me this job and to let me learn about my people and the body, the human body, and how to take care of it and have self-preservation. I took care of my grandmother for 12, 13 years straight, every day. And people don't live long with Alzheimer's, but she lived over 12 years with Alzheimer's because she was getting treated like a queen, you hear? You check? So, yeah, man, we gotta love our people, man, and take care of those that been here before us.
I am glad that you were able to put that into perspective, because I guess also people who are listening will recognize, hey, bro, this brother could have been, you know what I mean? But he opted to walk away from all that, as you just mentioned, and went
Yeah,
to look
that's the
after
God
you.
and it's true.
That is also another level of, as you said, empathy, as you mentioned in the beginning. You know, patience. You know, tolerance. You know, that really speaks value. Now, just for edification as we're going through this, what's your age? Like, you care to share that? Because I mean, listening to you sounds like
Yeah.
you've been through a whole heap of things, and I still just want people to realize that, yeah, you still
I's a Hugo baby, you know. So you know me no little boy. We call it as far as that. So I was telling somebody that laughing. I say, you know, experience up to Hugo. So they say, you know, young boy then, you know. But I just made 30. I just made 39 this year. So
okay. So I'm looking at also that you're in, you know, the peak and the prime of your life, and as a young man, you don't find a
thank you.
lot of young people. You don't find a lot of young people who would have given up what you gave up, and to look after your grandmother. That is deep. That
Right.
definitely. Um, the the calling now to take on this aspect of it. Here is it. You could have been, and you're still, as you said, going through the music. So you're still also, because you're doing it still, there's hope still that, yeah, I can still go back and get back maybe where it was and maybe even further. But you're called now to represent your people on a different level. When did you get that call? A year ago, 2 years ago? Like, and what is it that you think are you
I go.
motivated you to do this?
And let me. You know what? I'm gonna give all the details on this here because I love all your brothers, what are you offer, and especially the way you make me feel right now. So give thanks, thank you. It actually started with a conversation. Shout out to my brother, Los James. Los James, who was in politics years ago, around a good time in the island. And he's also very close to my family. So he know me. And that day I was actually in commute to do a few things. I can't recall exactly where it was, but I know I was say, you know what? Let me go and buy my mother some flowers. Let me go and get something for my mother because, you know, it's not every day you get to do that, but, you know, when you get a chance to do it, do it. So I went by his flower shop. You know, long story short, long time I ain't hear from him. He hear from me. We catching up. He said, man, you know what? He said, you know, you should get into office, you know, you should get into politics, man. He said, a man like you would do good, you know. Yeah, because I guess whatever it is that was said, you know, brought him to bring to that attention to ask me if I was willing to do that. And I say, you know what, maybe in a few years, you know, but coming from you, that's special, man. Coming from you for real, that's special. And I said that, you know, I'm not no politician. I'm not into the bureaucracy. But I'm a people's man. I'm for the people all the way. That's the foundation I come from. It take a village to raise a child. I come from each one teach one. I come from all we are one. That's the foundation I come from. So it started from that. Honestly, in my heart, like I had this when he said that, I had this feeling like maybe it may be a calling for me. And if it is the calling, that's why I told him. Very last thing I said, if it is my calling, that's what the most I want, so be it. I will step up. I'm going to step up and do it to my best. So fast forward to, like I said, over time with the TikTok, I was putting TikTok videos out to engage with people and reel the right kind of listeners into the music that I will be putting out and the music that I will be promoting and advertising. And this happened. So almost as if, you know, you could try and be doing one thing and not knowingly something else end up happening, working for you. So based off of the things that I was said and what I stood for and the video went viral. And people, it was such a joy, and it felt great to hear the way people felt, the way people seen the island, the way people have a love for the island, the things that people want and the improvements people want. It was like a big conversation. And to me, it was like finally, you know, it was finally something we all could try and come together and actually see if we could share our ideas and become a part of. And the more videos I kept putting out, sharing knowledge, inspiring, whatever makes me feel good, I'm going to put it out. Hopefully it hit the next person. Hopefully it makes the next person feel good. I have to use this. I started realizing, right, that this platform helps people. These TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever it is, the way you use it, the way I've been using it has been helping people. So late, I started to say, you know what, I'm going to go hard. I'm going to continue to start to really be valuable, not just out here, but on the internet too, on these platforms, because a lot of people who live their life on there. And sometimes we have to try and knock on the door. We knock on the screen and say, hey, you know, don't forget we are whole life out here to live too, but let me preserve that. We still have to uplift each other any way we can, whether it's here or there. So the feeling started picking up, brother. Feeling started picking up. And I'm telling myself, no way that we have people, we don't got crooks representing us. I'm not trying to point fingers at nobody, but everybody know the truth. We live in a time of information. I don't have to expose nobody. Everything is done exposed, and people self-expose themselves all the time. And we live in a time of information where you can find anything. So the kind of things we've been seeing and finding, you have to know how to pick sense from nonsense. You can't listen to everything you hear half of what you see in the hype. So I've learned how to master that. And I have real sources and information from people that I said to myself, no, there's no way There's no way. They're making a mockery out of the people. There's no way you're taking people still owed, people in the government still owed money, workers in the government still owed money. Schools have not been attended or it's always been neglected in our hospital, them family care, mental health. Like we got a wall of problems on the island. And I don't see nobody doing anything about it. And I don't think not one government in the world was able to fix all the problems. No government, not since the beginning of time, not till now. So I just started feeling so hot, knowing that, wait a minute, our youth, them future, what they have, really what they have. Look, people do a lot of stuff, look good and sound good. But beneath all of that, ain't nothing happening. And that's why I say it really got to stop. I don't know who, I'm sure other people standing up and I don't know, there's other people doing it, but I want to do it the way I know best to do it, my way. And my way was to stand up face to face to them, with them and tell them, look, you're dead wrong. You know what you're doing in the face of the people. And I refuse to let you continue doing it in front of me, in front of my people, and in front of you know what's so crazy with this government? And we gonna get to self-preservation and knowing how to the unity that we need before we watch the government. But already these people go in there in power while a collective few thriving. Everybody on drugs and alcohol, people searching for peace, going church. You got this one thieving, that one did all kind of thing going on. And the energy on the island is just so heavy. People say when they come home, they just feel like a cloud. And so what's the difference if you just living, going to work, coming home, and knowing about these things? You're going to sit home, you're going to go home, you're going to say, okay, I live in good. But you ain't going to be proactive. So, Bankie, Yahsonn, I wanted to actually start to motivate people to start to get up off their backside and let we start to stand up together and start to educate each other to know exactly how to go about this. And it's going to start with somebody, but I couldn't wait on nobody. So between these past few months, I have meditated, I have interceded, and I have asked for my sign quietly. And I have gotten them. And you could say about a month ago, I made that decision to say, you know what? I may not have the degrees, I may not have all the political experience, but one thing I have is a heart of God and a love for people, genuine love for people. And I'm going to say this last thing, and then I'm going to give the floor back to Ayo. Why I knew who I was, when I was. I remember a time I've been walking. I wasn't walking, I was driving, sorry there. I seen a woman walking in a distance in the middle of the road, but heap of car. I there behind a heap of car, I see a heap of car coming, going. By the time I reach up, I notice an old woman in the middle of the road. I said, but wait, nobody ain't stop. So I pull over on the side, jump out immediately, call to action, and went straight to deal with her. Mama, what you doing in the road? I said, I'm not getting to know she. Everybody keep passing. People slowing down, like don't know if they should help or not. So I started realizing There ain't too many people like me. And there's like 90% followers and 10% leaders, and 90% of the leaders, them crooked. So that gonna leave man like me, you, and to try our best to do what we need to do instead of living for nothing. We're gonna stand for something or be fooled by anything. I rather not. So when I seen that older woman doing that, I end up getting fast forward. A brother stop out of all them people. The man got tattoo all over his face. I know the man too. The man done been in and out of can. Oh, that man stop and say, "You're good, Papa. I want to make sure you're good. Hey, you need anything?" He said, "Man, Irie, you know what? You're good, you're sure. I was just about to go and pick my daughter up and say, big man, go for your daughter. Just because you care, you make a difference, the man, because you stop you. You know what I mean? So I went and make sure I find her. St. Chris, man, I find questions. I know how to I know how to ask questions and find answers. I know how I know how to go about situations like that. I've been in so many situations, so I was able to find her house and bring her to her home. Sit down with her and speak to her. You know, this woman was a nurse in the Paul Harbor, and she was able to tell me about everything that happened in with the bombing at Paul Harbor. Our own, been over there saving people. This woman, and she there in the middle of the road walking. I was able to embrace her. You know, and her name, Miss. I ain't gonna lie, I can't recall her name because you know the vibes were so pleasant, and I think I was just so focused on getting her to her place. But anyhow, like I said, I started to realize more about myself, Yahsonn, and from things like that, you know, it hurt me. It hurt me to realize to see that a lot of us there is such in survival mode that we don't even stop to help nobody. That we so scared that we don't trust nobody. You know. So, but anyhow, back to you.
Yeah, quite an interesting and impressive story. I'm really loving your story, and that's why I'm allowing you to speak, because at the same time, I think it is doing well in terms of giving people a better perspective of who you are and genuinely, you know, what you really
Thank you,
about,
Yahsonn.
so that they realize that this brother is not just trying to do something. He's really willing to make a difference. No, you said
It's
it's
time
just
for me. It's time to step up. It's time to step up. And I told
yeah,
myself
man.
I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna step up.
So you said it's just about a month or a couple of months that you would have really gotten on the mission. Is it too early to kind of ask for like a feedback from the masses? Like what's your feeling on the ground in terms of people who
Oh
are
no no
aware
no.
you're making that step? What's
Well,
the
I'm still in
feedback
the
so
early
far?
stages. Okay, well the feedback so far, I've gotten a lot of support. Quite surprised at the support. Um, with the kind of I asked for a certain uh for a certain job to be done, small job from certain people, and I was able to get over almost 2,000 supporters. And it was quite a surprise, honestly. But I'm not surprised when the foundation is the most high, anything is possible. As far as I'm still in the early stages, I just was able to renew my voters registration. I had to make sure I get that straightened up, and now I'm just waiting on just connecting with the legislature, or what you call it, the board of elections. I'm sorry. So for my declaration of candidacy, so I'm still going through those early stages. But in the meantime, there's a lot that's being put in place as far as like us. If can I, if I may, I wanted to be able to do things like target public requests, and I'm doing things quietly right now. I don't want to say too much, but um, there's things that I'm doing now as far as monetizing and organizing, finding, connecting with like local advocacies and watchdog groups. I'm doing some homework and research and connecting with some people. So everything that I need to do, anybody who's running, I need things that they need to do as far as setting themselves up, getting a trustworthy team and a real good solid attorney, and just those steps towards campaigning and marketing and things like that. I'm still in the early stages of that. But for now, I've just been connecting with the people. Just been connecting with the people, listening, asking what people want and what people what do people really want to see, what changes people want to see. And a lot of support, Yahsonn, a lot of support. People that I have been connecting with has been giving me their word that they're gonna support. They're gonna push, they're gonna stand behind. I've been hearing a lot about they got people in the shadows as well that's standing behind and ready to come out. So the voiceless is ready to move, So
So another question, right? I see you turban up. Is it that you carry locks? Is it that you defend Rastafari? And if so, um, how how is that received, and the possibilities of that being any
well,
hindrance, you think?
I as far as the Rasta life, honestly, I'm more my lifestyle. My lifestyle is love and unity and liberation and peace and togetherness. That's my lifestyle and culture and religion, if you want to say. But I grew up around nothing but Rastafarian, Rasta. All through my from young, I did wrong Rasta. So the teachings of the Rasta have been embedded in me. I grew up in a household with Christianity and Catholic, but I seen the hypocrisy and the contradictions in the church. And I always found peace, and I always seen more light with my Rasta brothers when it came to not judging, when it came to learning thyself and the creator and memorizing the books and things like that. Like it was always good vibes. So I I always told myself I wanted to go through the schools and I wanted to make sure I get the full teachings of Rastafari before I even go and claim it. But I am more closer to Rastafari. I can't hear you.
My bad, my bad. Um,
Sorry
the
there.
rationale for asking is not so much necessarily to, find out so much if you really defended it per se, as much as
Oh,
your
okay.
thoughts on if it would be like a hindrance for you in any way, seeing that, I don't think
Mm,
there might be any like a lock or Rastafari, governor.
I got you.
That's what I
I
was.
tell you what.
Uh-huh.
Well, now that you clarify that and I got full overs on that, I tell you what. Um, even explaining to you, even getting deep on where I stand with that. I still accept our divine Lord and Savior as my way of life, Christ. Um, as far as how they perceive or how they see me, because when they look at me, everybody think I Rasta. And I don't mind that. You want to know why? Because Rasta was bound to take over somehow. Honestly. And Rasta to me is everybody. Everybody. So like I was letting people know, if they ever see a Rasta in office or in political office, it'll be a hard thing to kind of accept most people, because we don't know it's a double-edged sword, and we don't know what kind of entities them are dealing with beyond that. But at least we could see some kind of hope. We could see some kind of light at the end of the tunnel, because, you know, we stand on love. We don't war. We don't fight with everybody equal. And if I don't see any, how I should say this, I don't see any obstacles with that, because where we are in life right now, the times we in, I feel a lot of people have accepted Rasta more so now than ever. And I think they just declared Rastafari Day here in, I think it's I think it was in July, I believe. Sometime in June or July, the government declared that.
I think it's July 23rd. Imperial Majesty Earthstrong.
Yes. Okay, it was Selassie Earthstrong. You're right.
Yes.
So it's being embraced more. So I feel like it won't be a problem, and I would love for that to be something that I would love to always shine a spotlight on the Rastafari life too, because they have to learn about they gotta learn about self and self-preservation, and ain't nobody, me care what anybody say. All my brothers, all my Rasta brothers that they run the place, all my Bobo partner, them, all my brethren, them that they both sing Croyan. So they all stand for something great. While everybody out there bubbling and drinking and partying and doing anything, I mean, seeing nothing wrong with that, but it's like they know they have to preserve things for the next generation, and they know they have to take, in order for us to survive, the art have to be taken care of. And so there's certain things that I love to see people doing, and that's what I'm attracted to. The ones that like to put food on the table together, the ones them who like to live a life that is not of material, is not of man, but of God. So yeah, brothers, I was brought up around that kind of life, and I don't think nobody could take that different. We Rasta taking over, and they've been taking over. They gonna even be in office just now. I don't say when I gang there, I bring in everybody with me. I bring in everybody. Check that include everybody. We ain't watching no face, but we always got to just be well aware. We gotta make sure we watch the watchers and catch the catchers, right, Yahsonn?
Yes, I am loving the way that this discussion is going. Here's what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna go over to the YouTube platform and check on some of the comments that we have here. At the same time, I'm
Okay.
going to encourage folks, if you want to call in, to give some support to, Chi Kairo. The numbers are 1-869-665-8459 or 1-869-662-7196. They're sliding across the screen, so if you're watching, you'll be able to see the number slide across the screen. For those of you who are on the YouTube platform, I want to say good evening, Sherry Ann Richards. Good night, King, she says. Booba Love says, yeah, St. Christ, home away from home. Charlie Gaskell says, humble youth, freedom fighter. I will be keeping faith in your journey. Sherry Ann Richards says, we need to bring those times back in our communities where families looked out for each other. Charlie Gaskell again says, could see you spend time around the elders, represent your culture with purpose, my brother. Booba says, this man already have my vote. Charlie Gaskell says, looking up ticket price to St. Croix, man a lion. Okay. Those are the comments so far on the stream. Now, Chi Kairo, I don't know. I know that Bankie was the one who spoke to you and got you on the platform here this evening. But as I am listening to you, I am not certain if you are aware that Bankie himself is presenting himself to run for politics here in Nevis for the next election. So I am here with
That's why talking up.
two hopeful.
Hey, no, let me clap, because what? Me know that. Me know that's what I was doing, Bankie. Thank you. Sorry, me to cut you out, but yeah, man, that's great to hear.
Oh, it's quite interesting to have both of you, because, and that's why I was asking somebody the questions in relation to Rastafari and how you think he's going to be received and so on, because I'm thinking also along the line of him, putting himself up also as an independent candidate. Now, for you guys, running for governor could be an individual thing, but here it's more party oriented. So, and St. Kitts and Nevis. Nevis, let me say.
Yahsonn, let me interject. There's a call coming in. Take this call.
Okay, yes, let's take the call.
Carlo, good evening. Welcome to the Topiks.
Yeah, good evening to you guys, man. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm good, and on you?
Yeah, pretty good.
Good evening.
For the, yes, right? You guys ready for that yet?
Yes, go ahead. Speak.
Okay. Yahsonn touched on this a minute ago, right? Rastafari. The guest appears to. It doesn't seem like he has announced himself as a Rastafari, and he can clarify too, whether he did or whether he didn't. Does he see a need from the Rastafarian community for him to do that in terms of his followers and the brethren that he's been associating there in St. Croix? Does he see a need for him to declare himself Rastafarian?
I got the mess. I got the he gonna respond.
Just stop me when you're ready to stop me. But let me ask him, how is the light Mom with you doing tonight, man? And I go forward. I came to the VI in 1985, and I don't remember seeing the electricity being turned off there that much. And I'm asking him, does the Virgin Islands get federal funding from the United States? And what is happening underground there with the electricity being turned off so much, especially on St. Thomas, where I can speak to? And does that happen over on St. Croix?
Okay, well, he'll answer. He'll answer.
Definitely.
One last thing. As Yahsonn just mentioned yourself, as running for election coming up, I want him to maybe talk about. I know he just mentioned a specific lady that he didn't want to identify. I'm wondering if that lady is a part of his team. Does he have any females a part of his team? And internally, with his quest, what advice can he give to you? Because I know Yahsonn just asked him if he knew that he was going to be running for election, and he indicated that he just finding that out. So what kind of advice can he give to you, Bankie, as far as the team around you for the next coming election that you will declare yourself for in Nevis? And what type of personal advice he can give to you as a candidate? And I'll leave it there for now. Thanks a lot.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Sound like a real great individual tapping in. Whoever you are, ever you are, big up yourself and thank you. Utmost gratitude. So I could go ahead and just answer his question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Well, as far the first question you asked, as far as declaring myself or if I should, I don't think that's really an issue because, in this day and age, like I said, I don't claim to be Christian. I don't claim to be Catholic. I don't claim to be Muslim, or I claim to be me. And I study more of the Rasta culture than anything else because I was surrounded with that. So as far as the way people see me, they automatically gonna see me as one of them, one of the ones. Especially the way I was taught. Oh yeah, they will see me as one of their own. I don't think it's a problem because it's not something that I come to stand for a certain group of people. I come to stand with everybody. And we're gonna put spotlight and we're gonna give empowerment to the right kind of leaders from every group. And I want to let people know that when it comes to our island, who is predominantly full of the Rasta culture, that's one thing and one bridge that has been keeping us at least somewhat preserved and somewhat um, in healthy, you could say, in this day and age. So as far as that, and with the WAPA, when Brian came in office, when our governor Brian came in office, he said he was up to date with the bill. I think this was 2019 or something like that. He was up to date with the bill. Current. It was to, I think he to a few generators, brand new, up to date generators they bought, and he was making sure they do some kind of transparency on. I know the feds got involved with that. You see, this is a territory, so this is federal property. So as far as anytime we go through anything, yes, we do get federal funding. We get federal funding for hurricane emergencies. We get federal funding for, you could say, infrastructure. But it's so much that's been taking place over the years, especially with WAPA and LIAC. There's a lot of transparency that I am demanding as well with that. But we still experience power outages every single week. I'm not exaggerating. We don't even have to have bad weather. I'm sure over in St. Thomas they're experiencing that too. We shouldn't be experiencing that, but we have certain people in position that I think truly this is really a game they playing, especially with the people. We all know exactly what's going on. So, but we need new people, honest people, strong people in office to be able to go and clean that up and make sure the community come first, the people come first, and not just go in office and collect a check. Most of these politicians, that's all they doing, going there to collect a check. They really don't care about the situation. So we do have some issues, major issues with LIAC and the money that is owed to LIAC and the money they use to pay these people and other private sectors. It's really a shame that we haven't even overcome our tax refund situation because people haven't spoke up too much about that. Just where's my tax check, which is good enough, but not for me. We know they use people's tax money supposed to be for infrastructure, but they use that for other things. They use that to pay off other bills, their own personal bills. It's a lot of things that need to be changed, of course, over time. And we know it's family upon family. From DeYoung was there, and who was the commissioner of it was Brian under DeYoung. So we all know how the cycle goes. If that could clarify answering your question, so it's a cycle we have here, and it's families that go in office, and it's only a collective few thriving while the island continues to destruct. Well, as far as the next question, I know he was asking you, Bankie, since you're running the office, as far as if I do have a balance of women and men that I'm bringing together. People with profession as well. So it's coming together. I feel confident. I actually truly like the people that I've been with from day one and those that I've crossed paths with so far to help this engine start.
All right. There was a question in relation to assistance for any advice or assistance for Bankie as he's also going to run.
Oh, okay, cool. Yes, you did say that. As far as honestly, advice, hey, well, as far as that, I think Banky is such a wise man. I think he's already a people's person. That I truly think once you put Banky in front of certain people, or anybody at that, and just let him speak, people will listen. People definitely will listen. So my advice on that part, you already are a wise man. You already have the people. So as far as being able to connect with more supporters, as far as here in the Caribbean as well, because we have a lot of people from St. Kitts and Nevis here on the island, and the power of word of mouth. Continue using the platform, the social platform, as much as possible. Promoting and advertising yourself as much as possible, because the things that you have to offer, people do need, and it's not just because you're running for office, but it's where you stand and how you stand, and the way you move and how you move. So people are attracted to leadership, and people are attracted to people who smile as well. So you know, I already am grateful to know, and so actually excited to see this election, especially for you, Banky. You you have a great chance to be, and not because I'm saying it, but I'm just because I met you. Like I said, I met you and I get to know you throughout these days, these few days now, and you are somebody truly that we need representing our people. Somebody like yourself, truly. Somebody like you all can really represent the people with dignity, and with just make sure you're strong. And I don't know you. I know you're strong. I know you're strong. You're there still. The kind of words and information you have is powerful. So I know you're a strong individual. So just continue to be strong when you're going there. You know, don't be afraid to ruffle some feathers. You know what I'm saying? Everything we're doing is for change and for a good reason. So even if we have to ruffle a few feathers, but I always keep a strong support, strong team. I truly believe having a balance of man and woman in a team is because woman, I always feel woman know how to make things look good. Woman know how to make things feel good. They know how to put things together. They know how to they just know how to do it better than a man when it comes to certain things, of course. And brother, we you get the right kind of woman or women who's strong, not afraid. We have we come from fireborn people. We come from Queen Mary, and we come from my grandmother them. And so when it comes to strength and these women being monarchs and stuff, we have to listen. They play a major role. They play a major. We cannot disrespect them. We can't take nothing from them. We all gotta work hand in hand together. So in the circle and the team that I have a few women in my team too as well, and they will play. They're very skillful and professional at what they do, and I feel that the support that I'm getting from them is genuine, and everybody on the same page. So just be a card. Be a card. Stay rooted, brother. You got this, man. That's all I could tell you. That's all I could tell you. I'm
All
looking
right,
forward to
all right.
seeing this election, Bankie. Looking forward to seeing you in there, making some great changes for your country.
Well,
Yeah,
Chi Kairo,
give
as we continue, Banky, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring in some more of these comments here, and then I'm gonna allow you to weigh in and give some feedback based on some of the comments. But before we do that, Chi Kairo, there are one or two questions in the chat for you specifically.
Mm.
So we have Sherry and Richard saying, boop, boop, boop. Yes, sir, Banky. Sherry and Richard, I guess, some people are just hearing for the first time too that Banky is going to be running. So, some people are excited. I'm challenging
Excited.
him to make
Yes.
sure that every time we come on the platform that he mentions this, so that people can be
Yeah,
aware.
keep promoting,
Um,
keep advertising. Absolutely.
Jevan James says, I am looking forward to the elections in St. Kitts and Nevis. Sherry and Richard says, that's one of the reasons I couldn't move back to St. Croix. I moved to another Caribbean island before moving back to the Virgin Islands. And I guess that comment goes in relation to the electricity issue and so on that you were speaking of, Chi Kairo. Sherian says that today the electricity was out for hours per family and friends on the island. And there's no weather, like you say. Crazy. Maybe it's water, man.
Mm-hmm.
My mighty servant says, Chi Kairo. So this is your first question, or this is your question. Chi Kairo, what's your position on USVI independence and removing itself from the colonies of America and joining CARICOM? So that's a question for you. But before you answer that, let me just go through a couple more. So hold that question. Bobby Jones says, big up the guests. Enough respect and best wishes going forward. We will be watching. When is the election for governor there? So that's another question. When would you guys be running, having that election? Spyler Flick says, I may have missed this, but what do you think is the greatest challenge for the USVI people? And how do you plan to change to eliminate that challenge? Bobby Jones saying, great assessment of Bankie, great advice for him. That brother is well qualified, well knowledgeable, and needs the support. Okay, so those are the questions. And then on the Facebook, Aaron Otto Heiliger says, best wishes, Chi Kairo. The uprising is happening. Give thanks for stepping up and stepping out. So, you got support and you got some questions. So, hope you were able to remember the questions, or if you want me to go back to do them. Think you remember them?
The first question was about what do I think about removing ourselves from
From the colonies of America and joining CARICOM.
colonies and being
And joining
and joining who? I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
CARICOM stands for the Caribbean Community. So it's a group of countries that's in the Caribbean, that sort of like.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I always truly, first off, I want to thank you. Thank you for that question. Honestly, I love when people have input, so because they care, it show they care. When it comes to the Caribbean strength of our people and the Caribbean strength and our history and our resilience is unstoppable. I mean, you could imagine if we all as one as a Caribbean all became whole. And we all know the great things that can come out of that. And I think like life is positive and negative. So there's like pros and cons to that for me. And the pro of independence with USVI for me is let me think. It's political and that, and that would mean full control over domestic and foreign policies, right? I would want to say.
Yeah, we want to think.
A greater cut, right? It would. That's a pro. Um, it'll generate cultural. Let me see. It'll generate cultural and cultural and national identity development. That's another pro, I think. Will be no longer subjected to the federal laws oversight by Washington. This is another good pro. Another pro. Um, international international recognition.
It seems as if we're
Being that
having
we have the ability to join the nations and other international organizations, yeah, that's another pro.
Okay, it seems as if you're having some Wi-Fi or data issues on your side. You're dropping out a bit, so
Just independent representation. Independent representation, the economic part, excuse me. We could potentially create a system, probably a tax system. You hear me?
yes, yeah, I'm hearing you now, but you were a bit dropping out a bit for the past 2 minutes or so. Okay, so Bankie,
Can you
in the meantime,
can you hear me?
okay, yes. Okay, so maybe you can try to make your adjustments and then
I
you
apologize
come
for
back.
that. Yeah, I apologize. It looked like, the service. I suppose I have real
Well,
good service right now, but hey, I guess we keep going.
I guess it fits into the theme of what you were saying in terms of the Virgin Islands with the power, the water, and now
Exactly.
that's showing up. So yeah, continue.
Well, as far as I was saying that the international recognition part, this ability to join other United Nations and other international organizations if it was independent representation with trade agreements and diplomacy, that'd be good. It's another pro as far as economic tailoring. If I'm saying it right, potential to create a how did I say it? You could be able to create a tax system and economic strategies with it's supposed to suit the local needs like export and agriculture and things like that. So we got so much we could do at being independent, and there's so much good pros at that. But the cons, it'll be loss of U.S. support. That's the con. The USVI, I think, currently receive a significant federal funding for like healthcare and what it is, education, um, for infrastructure, disaster relief, and things like that too. Citizens benefits, the access to U.S. social programs and things like that. We're gonna end up losing that, but that's just a con. Like I said, there's a pros and cons, is good and bad to everything. So the economy, vulnerability. In fact, that would be jeopardized too. U.S. support from U.S. subsidies and things like that, we will lose that. So as far as I do. Let me say this: I think true liberation begins in the mind and is fueled by knowledge, unity, and refusal to accept injustice or the normal. So if we can do that, yeah, I think we'll do great. Why not? I don't feel like we's a third world country already. I don't feel like we already are living off the grid for the most part. So, but there's a pro and con to it. So that's my answer.
All right, Bankie. Well, they got a couple more questions on the wall, but I'll give you an opportunity to, pop in any questions that you may have for Chi Kairo and or any comment or feedback you want to based on the questions and the people who are seeking to urge you to also promote yourself as you're putting yourself up to run for St. Paul's in Charleston in Navy. So, Chi Kairo, the thing is, in your case, you're running as an individual for governorship. And since it's a Navy, yes, well, generally there's a two-party kind of thing and Nevis. Well, there's another third party in the last election, but mainly two-party. Bankie is doing something that is sort of outside of the box, so to speak, because they do have from time to time independent candidates, but I don't think there has ever been any that has been successful, and so we are hopeful that Bankie with as you mentioned, he's a people person, he's very influential, well loved, genuine, demonstrates by action. Don't just talk. Don't sugarcoat.
Right.
What it is. We say what we gotta say, and mean what we gotta say, and do what we gotta do. So it will be quite interesting to see that. So like you and him, kind of like in the same position, so to speak, trying to put yourself out there, and both seemingly have similar characteristics, people, person, and so let's see how that works out. So Bankie, I want to give you a chance to weigh in. Like last week, it was you who took over most of the interview. This week, it seems as if it's me who is taking it over. But it is. We work as a team as usual. So I'm just gonna let you weigh and drop in something.
Yahsonn, as everyone listening and tuning and viewing realize, Chi Kairo is a very intellectual person, well spoken, was raised by his grandparents and his family members. So
Thank you.
It's just ordinary people is needed to do the right thing, my brethren. These things are not philosophical or anything like that. You just need people who do the right thing and who mean well and who is connected within the community, understand his people, and don't lose themselves by greed and other influential things around them. Because everything is choices, Everything is choices. So you can't say yes and make you do that, It's yin and yang.
That's right.
In everything, in every action, there's a reaction. So I can't blame you because you tell me to do something, I follow you on this, or yes, nah. I should understand the consequences. So I applaud the gentleman. That's why I reach out to him, because nothing is coincidental, It's just their mind tell me boom, and I just happen to click on a virgin thing. I say, well, nah. He just touched me because I know he's doing the right thing. I need more people like him to stand up and hopefully can inspire other people in the community, not just in St. Croix, but throughout the Caribbean itself, or anywhere in the world that they see this show, get in contact with his videos that he made and stuff like that. Because, as you say, he made a choice not to be a part with an environment where most people want to be in the musical industry. He made a choice to go and check for his grandma and put that behind of him. Some might say, oh, that's a mad thing he done, but at the same time, his choices. You see what I mean? But my thing is, what is for you, and is written already. But before I continue, let me say, Yahsonn learned just know that article virgin, everybody know Colin, who used to sell vegetables within the market for years, the Charleston market. I made to understand he has transitioned, so just want to send condolences to his family in St. Kitts and his children and stuff like that. That's a great loss. He was a pioneer in the agricultural sector, have dedicated himself and sell food for years. For those who listen would know Colin, the house who used to be the Kodak Road by Bongo, or by the Paris and them, this was just shocking news to me. Also, as a part of the PTA, the PR, the Public Relations Officer for Charleston Secondary School, tomorrow at 4:15 will be the first meeting of, the parents and teachers meeting at the high school auditorium at 4:15, so definitely parents and guardians make it out to that. And also coming up on the 18th of October is the Charleston Secondary School pageant. Definitely go to and support that at the cultural complex. And in St. Kitts, we expect the Sandy Point Cooperative Organization having the 15th World Food Day cooking competition with the high schools, and this everything will be taking place at the Sandy Point Hardcourt, a new location. So definitely go out and support that event. Big up your Chosai and everyone around that cooperative and support the community. But back to you, Kairo. What are some of the things that you see happening within the community that the people like change and going forward? It could be within the healthcare, schooling, work-wise. What is some of the things that you'd like to change, or the people ask you? Definitely they want to change going forward.
Well, you know, our major, one of our major problems, of course, is WAPA. I think everybody can agree to that. But as far as that, you know, it's a lot deeper than what we see and what we know. So changes in that area is a lot that has to be done, and it's a lot of feathers you got to ruffle to get those changes done, and you really need to have the right resources. Truly have the right resources. As far as that, you know, we all feel. Huh? Say that again.
I just wanted to interject a second here. When you say WAPA, for those who may not know what WAPA is, Water and Power Authority in St. Croix. It's
right.
Yeah, you know, in St. Croix. I think you may use another acronym. I think is LEAC. I'm not certain what that one is for, but you know, for those who may not be familiar with, you know, the U.S. Virgin Islands, I just wanted to just interject that a bit. So yeah, continue. Go continue.
Right. Well, also, it's a small community. Everybody, community of families, community of mothers, fathers, children, sisters, brothers, aunties, uncles. So we've seen the schools being neglected, of course. We've seen and heard so many times delays. And we already know how we go. If you get if you get $50 million, right, to, let's say, rebuild this school, they trying to find a way how to just spend 5, you know, and kind of do their little kickbacks for the rest. So if there are people who's not willing to do that, or they're contractors or whoever that are willing to take undercuts and step on toes and things like that, you're gonna have delays. Delays just don't come because hurricane season is only one time a year. So as far as the changes with the schools and improvement, our hospitals, the malls, they dodge so much responsibility and accountability. We all out here trying to dodge getting sick from mold and all that too. So the people do want to see the island thriving again. We all can agree, we want to empower the youths again. Give them the right mentorship, the right job training, the right skill set. Want to give them, we need curriculums, we need arts, sports, We need the schools to be improved, not neglected. We got to make sure we focus on our children's future, investing in their future. There's no way in the world we should have we got tackle football out there, and these people don't even have a cameraman or a band playing at their games, or like, what's going on? If we are part of the U.S. Virgin Islands, if we are part of the U.S. and we U.S. Virgin Islands, and they say it's a privilege to be here, where's the privilege? We got way too much things like the roads. The roads.
Hold.
I'm not. I got you.
Hold your thoughts. Let me take this call.
Alrighty.
Carla, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I wanted to get back in and interact with the guests. I want to ask them 3 quick questions before you guys get off. With the decline of Hess, how was Senko able to stabilize the economy locally there? Because, we know he said a lot of people there from St. Kitts and Nevis, and we were depending on that Hess money coming down to the islands. How did after the decline of Hess, how were they able to stabilize the economy? And did they diversify, and which industries did they go into to keep the local economy going? And 2 political questions. One, we know sometimes we might want to vote for president. Is there a need for the Virgin Islands to vote for president of the United States? If not, would the guest, which way he would go with it? Would he want the Virgin Islands to vote for president in terms of getting that extra representation? And once you move past that question, I'll just ask Lee, if we're not going to push to vote for presidency, right? We know they have one person in the U.S. House of Representatives. I think that's Miss Plaskett. And being that there's only one representative in the U.S. House of Representatives, would he want to see that number increase because of the fact that we have 3 Virgin Islands? And I'll leave it there. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good night. And good luck to the guests, and good luck to you back going forward as well. And you guys have a good night, man. Thanks.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you can go ahead, Chi Kairo, if you remember the question.
Okay. Well, Hess was a real big part of our driving our economy. Of course, it was a huge part of throughout the 80s and 90s, even in the 70s. As far as since the decline of that, there really hasn't been anything. Construction. The biggest thing we have here is tourism, and tourism is, we got what, one cruise ship that comes here every so often, and St. Thomas gets about eight cruise ships. A lot of the attention and a lot of the maintaining goes to the capital of the Virgin Islands, which is St. Thomas. So you could say the Virgin Islands is only surviving off of, I want to say, tourism, because we really don't have anything here. The construction business, everybody is trapped on disposing tools, and that business is ridiculous. That business is so corrupt. And then on top of that, you don't have certified people. So it's like you're limited when it comes to doing certain jobs. People don't have station. A lot of gifted and talented people that know what they're doing. But as far as the next generation to come, there's no electrical schools. I do welding schools. So we really don't have any jobs, any kind of infrastructure as far as with schools being down, hospitals, everything. You can only imagine jobs are leaving as well. We just came out, which is probably the only place where we could shop for any school clothes or anything like that other than online. And Kmart just closed down. That was the last That was I think the last one is in St. Thomas, I believe. I'm not too sure, but that just closed down. So we don't have no jobs here. People are surviving off of the landscaping, the little side hustles, government. A lot of locals work in government. A lot of people in government have not got paid. A lot of us, a lot of citizens and taxpayers, we don't even get our tax refund money on time. So it's things that we really do need help. People do say, oh, if we have a person like Trump and Elon or so to look into that, I'm sure the island would improve. Yes, island can improve financially, but I'm actually starting with grassroots as far as dealing with the spirits of people right now, dealing with the going into homes and making sure that the homes are dealt with. So a lot of us have left. A lot of homes have separated so they could leave for a better life, for a better way of income. So that's that as far as tourism. Tourism has been our main drive of income for the Virgin Islands. I think we have so much more ideas that we could bring more to the island. We have so much more ideas, so much things we could do. We don't even have a YMCA theater. So with that also being said, I think that I remember you was asking about what is it, as far as voting for a president as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
To me, you see what's crazy is we are unincorporated, which means America is a corporation. It says we are unincorporated. We are a territory. So we are owned by the federal government. So it kind of it makes me wonder why we cannot vote for the president. But people could come here and buy up land like crazy. People could come here and get priority. Locals, we made a major mistake by selling our land and moving. I really don't blame people for wanting a better life, because to be honest, we are people that travel around the world. We are people that, home is home. Home gonna always be home. Home gonna always be home, and no matter where you cut it, there's corruption in every government. So as far as if we could vote for the president, yeah, if it would make a difference, and if we would stop being treated like a third world country, because of this, as far as Virgin Islands and getting federal help and this and that, and when it comes to the way they got the place, how they got it, we already know. This is St. Croix, Santa Cruz, I. This is a prime area. They used this back in the day for military strategy, for war tactics. Not to say, yeah, I'm gonna own this island, we're gonna improve it, we're gonna build a community, and we're gonna empower this, and we're gonna create a community. But so as far as if we could, if our votes matter, yes, with the presidency, I think it would be a good idea to have that, to be a part of that, so we have some kind of say. Maybe they would look at us different and respect us a lot more. But as far as that, this is America's paradise. So, it's a double-edged sword. It's either we could do it and become a part of the US, or we don't do it and become independent. Because I met Joe Biden, and I remember when Joe Biden was with Obama. I met Joe Biden, and he said, "Hey, don't forget to vote." I said, "Vote?" I said, Mr. Joe, I said, we can't vote. I said, we's a territory. We can't vote for you. How come you don't know that? And he said, "Oh, what? You can't vote?" He said, "Well, we probably might need to change that." So as far as, there's pros and cons about everything, but we really need to just start dealing with getting we need to get the right resources and the right people to come in and look at to see what we have here, because we need help. We need help in the VI. We need help. We have agriculture, we have those kind of resources, but we have been down pressed and kept from making a living, I want to say. Because we could have so much export, we could control so much of that market, but it's very quiet and private, those who control that market. So, yeah, if that answers the gentleman's question, as far as
Yeah,
there's a lot.
definitely. Yes, definitely you did that. So, but you're continuing when the call came in. You can explore some more of the stuff people asking for, people crying out for. As you mentioned, Kmart have closed down now, so which means loss of jobs and stuff like that. You mentioned there is not even a youth skill program when it comes to teaching trades and different stuff, and those things are definitely needed. That's why you build a whole country. Those and it's today our reasoning with two engineers, more or less, electrical engineering and HVAC and refrigeration, and they say teaching about the same thing where we have lost ourselves and focusing more on doctors and lawyers, but at the same time leaving the skills behind, which those are what got America and Europe and England thriving. Because once you're gonna build a building, you need AC, you need carpenter, you need plumber, you need electrician. You have a whole moving parts of skill set moving in, and then you still need painters, furniture to come in. It's just a lot of different people coming in and out just to build a small home, much as when you have a major projects. So you see, and then you still have materials here and there. So this is what is booming, and from what you're saying, St. Croix is lacking behind a lot. So definitely you need young people involved, and definitely hope you get the support within the community, and as I said, other people get inspired. But you can talk about a few things that people meet you daily and they speak about when it comes to crime. And you see the infrastructure, you see power and water have to be is a serious thing. And in these times, I go in St. Croix as a youth in the 90s. Power goes off, and still, power goes off here too from time to time. But for St. Croix as a place where you have an oil refinery there, in a sense,
Exactly.
You'll be amazed. That should be the least to be happening. And then the technology and under the US again,
it's corruption.
It's just a lot.
There's so much corruption going on. It's a lot. It's a lot. And even with like to me, if the oil refinery don't have an EPA on it, this one, it need to be eminent domain. That property need to be given to the people. It's not like, let me show you something, right? It's not like that ain't like they were, they were doing little things here and there because they know the nonsense they were doing. They had to pay people off, and they had to compensate people. But it's like, if you're gonna do something like that, if I'm in position and I got people coming in to do things like that, number one, you ain't gonna come here and use my people. You ain't gonna come here and use the people, and you're not gonna come here and drain the people without compensating them. And it's not like, I know you're killing me, and I gonna still take money, so don't. No, you ain't coming here if you're coming to do that. But you, like for instance, they just bought over 3,000 acres. The administration, the government, over 3,000 acres in Maroon Ridge and Annalee. They say it's to giving back to the people. Hopefully they give acres to the people. Hopefully they give everybody some kind of compensation somehow, to where we could thrust that, because we could make it. We have land. We could turn these projects into something better. We don't have to set up our people to fail anymore. Because once we control that, we could start to make things happen. As far as we have to. We got a real crab in environmentality too. We have a problem where when one of us try to rise up, instead jealous. And that barrel mindset, pulling each other down instead of like pushing each other up. That mind comes from a PACT. People, if someone in, they losing. But you know that they we're trying to wake up our there's enough all of them. We just change how we start, you know. And the solutions and accountability. I feel we need to be more accountable with each other too. That means calling out what's wrong and also showing up with solutions and creating mentor for the youth, supporting like local businesses, showing love instead of envy. It take work. It take work. But I willing to put in the work. I willing to give up all my bad habits, all the wherever comfort. You gotta suck salt in order to get to where you need to be. So it it's important for our people to identify our culture too, you know, Banky. A lot of our youth growing up without deep connection to who we really are. And our culture, our music, food, and our dialect and our history is powerful. Let me say, if we don't protect it, if we can't protect it or teach it, we're gonna lose it. And when people don't know who they are, they're easier to easier to divide and distract. It's a lot easier to divide and distract. So yeah, me just talking. Me just talking, man. I gonna definitely try my best to get in there with the right group of people. The same thing I was telling you, you know, Banky, as far as having advice for you and you know to try and make some kind of changes, it's important that you have a strong, trustworthy team. It's important you got a strong, trustworthy team. And you know, Banky, just let your story be heard for sure, because a lot of people we could relate. Many can relate. Many can relate. Many can relate. And you know, you got to prepare for the attacks. They will come. Um, do your little fundraising. Do that there with integrity, man. Ground everything with faith and service. You know how we do it. We don't have to fit the mold, you know. We just have to break it. We so far and deep into all the problems, and then I'm gonna get the floor to you, Banky and Yahsonn. We so far and deep into problems. We have to start with why we got so far and deep into the problem, and that's in the homes. That's for ourselves. That's people. We gotta really start to care again. We have to really start to care again. I ain't knocking nobody for their habits, you know. I want to go hang out on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Fine. Let me tell you this, right? While you hanging out, the rich getting richer, and them man making sure they cheering, good. While we thinking about Friday and Saturday, them man thinking about 50 years down the line. And that's why all of this have been happening with the government now, because they don't have everything set 20 years down before the line. And that's how they got the thing set up. Tourism is not enough, because now they come here and making a mockery out of our culture. The government citing noise ordinance bills. Right? And then on top of that, them man signing bills that it's okay to wear dress in schools. And then LGBT, which is cool. Like, nobody don't tell me nothing when I say that, you know. Because I love everybody. I mean, care why you doing your life, you know. But what I'm trying to show you is, you mean to tell me you're going to do all of these things way before you deal with the people? Oh, man. A blind man could see this here is corruption. A deaf man could hear that these men doing things quietly under the table. You know, so I done with giving so much energy on what we know already, and we ready to empower the youths, empower our youths by investing in them, giving them job training, mentorship, giving them a skill set, helping them improve, finding trades, finding technology in the world, wherever it is. You know how many companies around the world want to come to St. Croix and start businesses, but we can't get that kind of help because this government don't want to shake down everybody. They want to make sure you're willing to take bribe and all kind of thing. And I've seen it for myself. I've watched this government give millions of dollars in duffel bag of money to jihad and thing. Gotcha. Man, people know about it. We all know what's going on. Are you robbing from the children's future and don't expect the people to do anything about it? A change is now, and we rising up. And we ain't trying to get violent. We ain't trying to do nothing, but nothing that's going to jeopardize. And nobody don't ever dare twist my words, because how in the world we can move forward? Of course, like they say, we ain't know where we came from, and we ain't learn from our mistakes. So I've learned from my mistakes. And I'm continuing to learn right now, people, that we start to check ourselves. Start to
Yes, you're getting a little bit of dropping out there. Your
one
signal.
another. Yeah, you can hear me now? Sorry there.
Yeah.
Can you hear me good? Okay. Well, probably because I might have said too much information, but regardless of what, information is out there. Ain't like I say anything nobody ain't know about, or ain't on the internet, or ain't and people ain't doing stories on it already. I do a lot of reading. We don't know all of this thing is bully. So I don't have people telling me, yo, your life gonna be in danger. You know what I mean? Oh, be careful when you be careful. Them man don't realize how powerful the Most High is. They don't even know who I am. And let's keep it that way. I am the people, and the people is I. The Creator, give them. Yeah, man. They mess with one, they mess with all.
King, I sit and I listen to you, and I'm sure, just like myself, the audience out there is feeling the energy. And I can say it based on a lot of the comments and feedback. And I mean, as a matter of fact, there are a lot of questions still in the chat box for you, you know what I mean? So I know that we definitely have to have a part 2. We're going to have to have you back. So sorry about this, folks, because as simple as it is, we have, gone through 1 hour and 58 minutes. We're just wrapping up on the final leg. So what I'm gonna do is,
if that's the case, let's try and capture those questions. Let's try and see as much questions that we could capture for the next, so we could continue and take it from there. I think that, because I would love to try and touch base with each and every individual.
Yes, sir. So, we are streamed on YouTube. So those questions, a lot of them are on the YouTube platform, and we are also streamed on Facebook, Real Entertainment Network.
Good. Okay.
So you'll be able to, review and be able to pick up some questions from there. But what I'll do, because we are really on that time, I'll give you a minute or two to give your closing remarks, and then Bankie, you do the same, and then we wrap up for this edition. There are a number of comments. Let me see if I could read at least one or two before I do that. at least so that at least those who would have made their contribution realize that their contribution was recognized. Okay, so Bobby Jones says, very influential for myself as I get to know him. He is like a younger big brother. Yahsonn, you too is influential. Pleasure listening to you guys. Bobby Jones again says, straight to the guest with the decline of Hess. Okay, he asked a question already. Okay, follow up with the question about removing U.S. territory and joining CARICOM. What political goals he have for St. Croix and the Virgin Islands on a whole to vote for president? Okay, I think he asked that one as well too. Charlie Gaskell, and I'm glad that I'm reading this comment as well because Bankie, I also would like to send my condolences to Colin and I mean his family and children
Yes.
and everyone, friends and as he trod on. Colin was a staple in our community, Rastafari brethren who was known for traversing between St. Kitts and Nevis, selling food, making sure that the people eat healthy, organic food. And so, yeah, give thanks, for the life and the amount of lives you were able to touch. And I hope and pray that your family at this time can, go through what they're going through, at this time. Also, at the same time, to Bankie, I want to send some condolences to Kelvin Fraser, teacher who from Charleston Secondary School, who would have, taken away from us so quickly at a very young and tender age as well. So just want to use this platform and this time to send some condolences to his family as well. As we continue, Jevan James says LEAC, as you was using that term, means Levelized Energy Adjustment Clause. He says the U.S. Virgin Islands is experiencing a decline in population, which strains the current tax base. Mighty Servant says, Chi Kairo, what do you propose the VI do to help themselves away from what appears to U.S. dependency? Equally, transparency, what will you do to stem corruption if elected? James, enhance economic activity in manufacturing, construction, and the reopening of refinery and St. Croix is expected to generate jobs, increase revenue, and potentially boost the island's population. Jevan James says many Virgin Islanders relocated due to the closing of the refinery, Hurricanes Irma and Maria, COVID-19. As a result, many talented individuals have moved away in search of better opportunities. Mighty Servant says, Chi Kairo, would you say that the problem is government or governance? Is the system or the people who governs the system? Which of the two mostly needs changing? And Burlby Jones saying, great show tonight. Blessings to all. To you guys for holding it down. So these are just some of the questions, that demonstrates that the people are listening. The people are very much interested in what you're doing or what you're saying, and they're just looking for a bit more. So I definitely want to take this opportunity to invite you back, my brother. So you can
Thank you.
continue to let people know what you are all about and what your mission is and what your vision is. I must say, so far on the platform, the people are loving the energy, and I think we also learn a lot about what's going on in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and could similarly look at some of the issues, because some of the things that you guys are going through, I'm sure people are listening like, what? To them things in the
Yeah.
US Virgin Islands?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
of course. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be good that we could have this level of exchange, and the next time I think we could have more interaction with Bankie as well, especially seeing that both of you are in similar situation, so you can talk about the differences and so on. So I think
Yes.
for the next time I'll structure it in that way, that I could have more of an interaction and a comparison and get some more from Bankie too. What his plans and visions are for his, running St. Kitts and Nevis as well. So, with that, like I said, I'm going to give you a minute to do your closing, and then Bankie, your closing, and then we call it an evening for this edition of the topic.
Well, hey, thank you. Yahsonn and everybody who tapped in, everybody who took time to speak, ask questions, say their part. That one question the guys did ask about what I would do about corruption and how I would go about stopping that, I guess, election, the election corruption, or is it government? We know it's a system, so I would try my best to strengthen the electoral laws and institutions. If I become governor, I definitely would focus on that. But as far as closing out, I do thank each and every one of you for giving me your time. It was very, very well up. It was full of love and joy, man. You gave me something that I really can carry and think about as well, as far as what we're doing here in the Caribbean as a whole, what you all are going through as well over there in your lands, as well as here, how we can help each other and empower each other. Is my message, as far as for the government or the people. I know it's all about us. If you love this island, I will tell her, you prove it in action. And which I tell myself to show up, support each other. Build something to break the cycle, and let's not pass it down. I think that we will be able to start to realize the power of local ownership and things like that from ourselves to the land. And there's so much that needs to be done. I have great set of people with me that are willing to put their life and their efforts and time on the line too as well. So if anything, I could just say from my heart, people, when we speak truth, we just got to organize everything with purpose. We got to lift each other. We got to become the revolution people. Changes doesn't knock. Things don't knock. With the brothers like you and everybody, changes do not knock. We got to build the door. So thank you, the Topiks, Yahsonn Tafari, Bankie, truly. And if I could say one last thing, I had it in my mind when I just want to say I give thanks for the opportunity. I give thanks and praises to speak tonight about a movement, a culture, spiritually, liberty, known by us all, Rastafari. We know it's not just, we know it's spiritual, it's culture, it's resistance. We rooted in truth and love, we born out of oppression. So we continue to break the cycle and not pass this down. Got a lot of work to do. And I'm willing to put my all in. I treat this island like my darling. Yeah? So I all in for my darling. Yeah, my Bankie.
Yes, I love that. So Bankie, your closing.
Well, yes, I just want to thank all who tune in and who supported the topics this evening, the comments, the calls. Greatly appreciated. As remember, the show is you guys who make the show. Yahsonn and myself can be here speaking, and we have 01 listening, and we still have folks on the Facebook. Appreciate you guys, the YouTube and the Twitch. So definitely we don't take you guys for granted. And Chi Kairo, you can always go back and continue sharing this after YouTube and the Facebook live and stuff like that, and keep sharing it, and different people get a chance to continue watching the show. Because you have said a lot, you spelled out a lot of stuff that is needed within the community when it comes to infrastructure and training and all these different. And these are simple things that is still needed here throughout the Caribbean, even here in Nevis. So you speak about healthcare and a lot of social ills, which Nevis is different. So we all face the same issue, Yahsonn. And that is why you need a different generation, because stuff that I'm here speaking about, I mean, we finished school over 30 plus years ago. My oldest youth is 27, done married, and I'm still coming here to speaking about,
Wow.
I mean, electoral reform and constitution reform and all them craziness where we have all these colors and all these QCs and all these kind of alphabetical letters behind the name. And yet now they're speaking about thinking don't have a government and all this crazy madness. Madness, my virgin. I should be falling back and easy going and not have to worry about my last youth who is 5 years old at this point. What she gonna be if she gonna be able to buy a piece of land at her age by the next 20 years? I don't see a lot of these issues is gonna be possible, because you see tourism, as I keep saying, tourism is real estate. And everybody who comes to this Caribbean, come with an intention, my virgin. They come to take.
That's why I say Samaka.
They want something,
yes, absolutely.
And at the end of the day, you must remember the natives. You must remember them. Otherwise, they will be the minority. They will be the worst. We'll get the last end of the stick where everybody else will come. And whoever $1 or this to spend will be put ahead of you. Because it's easy to lose your soul over dead people and money. Because that's all you're afraid for, dead people, So you see something is wrong with that. The only person who is alive who put up there is the king and them, And the queen and them. You see what I mean? Yeah, so we got to see things for what it is and stop be blinded by entertainment. Can nothing change, It's just different system of enslavement. It's to the reason to our elders, And I keep saying it, the school system should not pass midday. The working system should not pass 12 o'clock, my virgin. Because you get up out of your day for 8 hours, 10 hours. When they get up early in the morning, you're gone, your kids about for 8 hours, the same way, come back home, more homework. Still get them homework, 9 o'clock, you still do homework, then I go and sleep yet. You still turn around, still continue work. By the time you let your job sleep, it's time to get up. So whereas you only have less than 4 hours in a day for yourself. People, there's nothing wrong with these things.
That's right.
So
that's right.
These are change that is needed, my virgin. Shortening the hours of the schools and the working hours and other things. Because it's enslavement. We are not designed to work like this.
We're not designed to do that thing.
You see? This is the reality. You're supposed to spend. Yes, you're designed to spend time with your family also. Not when you're working for 40 hours a week. But the 40 hours a week mean more than 40 hours. You see, because some still have to work on the 7 days. But then you're
trading your time. You're trading your time for nothing, for peanuts. And they ain't even got nothing in the shell. Still ain't got nothing in the shell, and the rich stay rich, So you're right. You're absolutely right. That's the truth.
So I just incorporate all that to say we are fighting basically the same things. You see what I mean? We are putting up those who we think will do the right thing in suits and jackets, and that's what you see. I don't really care for a lot of things. I just like being myself. And that's where it should be. Your clothes that you have on and all this different stuff. Don't mean you make good policies. It look good if it look good for photo apps. I'm not about photo apps. You see what I mean? Can me not bend, my virgin. Me not bend, Me not stand on stage with people who did wrong, and because you want to get in part of government or wherever, you're willing to suck salt and kiss up and let them in bed with people who fight against you and ill-treat you. I'm upon them things, my virgin.
That's right.
You see what I mean? Rather sit it out than to stand there amongst people who fight against things that me fight against, because me not accept it. It's just simple, because it's all about the people, It's the people, it's what the people want, not what I want, because me don't want nothing. It's what the people want, those who can't help themselves. Just how the young man speak about helping the elderly getting up. May the same youth who have to be around the elders and them the same hot the water, make the porridge. Same thing. Most people things are similar. But not everybody up in the environment we have to help and nurture, because everybody don't have the nurture gene and all the different stuff. I over these things. But I appreciate reach out. I have to big up my marketing person for reaching out and getting in contact with you. You understand? and
Oh, yes,
gotta big up.
yes. Large
Definitely,
up to her
you
too.
know, yeah, you know who you are. You understand, helping out with the posters and different stuff. So everyone who is a part of real entertainment in the background and doing their part, we really appreciate the time putting in. I'm a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
The platform is here. You have my number. Anytime you wanna reach out to be a part of the show, you just make it, just reach out and we just make it happen. It's easy as that. So I want to encourage the folks in St. Croix, St. Thomas, wherever you're at, get a chance to listen to this podcast and see this young man. Give him the support because he represents you. That's where he represent you.
Each and every one of you, all are we.
Yes,
Each and every one
that's where
of
it
you,
is.
all are we.
Yes.
And look,
So when I see you, I see myself. That's it.
Yeah, man, that's the way it is. You see you in me as I see me in you. Brother, our youths are
Yes,
bright.
sir.
And many don't see the future here, you know. And that's a major problem. I feel they feel unheard and unseen and stuck, and they have to involve young people in conversation, not just to talk about them, but when if you could suggest ideas, youth leadership programs and trade skills and training, created funding for young entrepreneurship, and yo, got some amazing youngsters out there, you know. Amazing. That's who I fighting for.
Yes, I.
The elderly too.
Yes, I.
Watch out. Every single one of we that's in our 30s and our 20s and so, you can walk and talk and you can feed yourself your gratitude. But they got a lot of people who can't do it. So let we do it. Be proactive. That's all I saying, people.
Enough respect, King.
Be proactive.
Enough.
Be proactive,
Yes, right.
man. Let me do this. Yeah, it is a
Yeah,
new
man.
day.
It's about that time, King. I mean, you know, as I listen, I know we can, you know, carry on this conversation for the rest of the evening because I'm loving what I'm hearing. The people are loving, you know what I mean, the energy. But you know, we gotta wrap it up. Before I leave, you know, Fellow Million,
Who?
Fellow Million, artist out there, I think it's St. Thomas is in Rock City.
Yeah. Of course.
That's my family. Anyway, Small World.
Okay.
That's a good link over on that side. Anyway, people, enough respect, people. It was a pleasure having you locked on to this edition of the Topiks. I mean, Chi Kairo, first time really reasoning with the eye and meeting the eye, and it's really an honor and a pleasure. I love the energy that the eye have, and I pray that, you know, this can really rub off on, you know, people and St. Kitts and Nevis throughout the region, and most definitely for the people in St. Croix who you're hopeful to, you know, as well the Virgin Islands, you're hoping to be able to do a lot more for. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more about you and hearing about the success. And when you are successful, I say if, when you are successful, make sure that here is the first platform that you come for the first interview. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? When that happens, let here be the first place that you come back and we have that discussion. So people, real entertainment team, enough respect.
Yes, sir.
Until next week, enough love.
Rastafari. Yeah, man. Yo, love. Thank you.
Yes, aye.
340 in the park. You done. Aye.
Well, it seems as if we have another minute, two, as we await our technical team to log us out. So I'll just, you know, use this opportunity to say, yeah, man, enough respect, Chi Kairo. Really, really, truly an honor to have you on the platform. You know, I think this evening's discussion was really, really upful. You know, I was just spellbound listening to the utterance of the youth and his experience and his story and, you know, his plans and vision going forward. I mean, it's just, you know, like amazing. So give thanks. Want to give thanks to all of you who would have participated on the YouTube platform, you know, with the questions. Sorry about those that, you know, he was not able to respond to, but we're going to have him back. And so I hope that the next time that you're available, but at least we were able to read your comments, and he would have, been able to hear some of the questions and were able to respond to some. We also want to say, no, we did read a lot of the comments earlier, but as the discussion went through, he responded to some of the questions earlier, and then some of those questions came in the latter, and then they were things that we were discussing. So yes, I do apologize for that, but next time definitely we will for sure make sure that a lot more of the questions are responded to. Even though I'm seeing some questions coming in here, some comments coming in. Bobby Jones says, Bankie, you see what you say about shortening up the school and work days is revolutionary in our small islands. We should do something different. Troy Sadia said, blessed love brothers, the earth is of the Lord and the fullness thereof. We are here, no partiality, let's do this. Natural Mystic says, read the comments in the last minute. Bobby Jones, okay. Big up Williams, Delight, Peters West, East and West Christian Stead. Frederick Stead, yeah, bless up the USVI. We love VI. Natural Mystic says, no longer shall we be afraid of the negative stigma. Unity is strength. And the herbalists need to rise up, whether it be bush tea, come on board. All that is good for our health is herb. Buba Love says, music industry is a soul snatching business. Yeah, so these are some of the comments still in the latter segment. I do apologize for not being able to get in some of those while the guest was on the platform, but we're gonna have him back. Definitely he has to come back, and we are hopeful that when we do, we're gonna advertise it just like we did. We're gonna put the flyer together, and we're gonna let you know ahead of time so that you could be well alerted and be well prepared and get your popcorn and your champagne or your bush tea or your sarsaparilla or your spliff or whatever it is that you need to go through the session and get yourself set for it. All right. As the person brought in the herbalist, Troy Sadie say you cannot eat without food, people. Yeah, man, bless up. Yes, as we talk about the herbalist, that's one of the topics that we are definitely going to address on everything agriculture. We look forward.
Yes, also, remember this Friday and everything agriculture, we'll have two farmers. Well, we have a farmer, Troy Flanders, and an agriculturalist, Kyle Flanders. So look out for that show on this Friday. Coming up, the next week, Tuesday, we'll be having Sam Kanda and for the topics, and then on the Friday, we're having Jade, Dr. Jade, the herbal doctor. So we're talking about parasites and different stuff like that. So definitely tune in for those next 3 shows coming up from this Friday up until next week, and then we speak about the other shows beyond that. Go ahead, Yahsonn.
Yeah. Bless up people. We definitely really full joy this edition, and we look forward to those 2 upcoming shows. Friday, especially seeing that they had the protest on St. Kitts. We're gonna get some feedback on that and what prompted it, and what they hoped to accomplish, and what is it that they accomplished, and all that, and all that is going to be on Friday. And then, as Bankie mentioned, next week Tuesday we would have Sam Kanda, former Deputy Prime Minister and Ambassador for St. Kitts and Nevis, will be on our platform. So we've got some packed shows coming your way, lots of things to look forward to. as we encourage you to share the platform, like and share and subscribe, and feel free to make use of the number sliding across the screens so you can call in to be a part of the show, or you can just, put your questions on the platform and we would seek to address the questions and comments as they come in. Sometimes, as you would realize, depending on the engagement and so forth with the guests, we sometimes may not get around to all of the comments at the same time. So, yeah, it is what it is, but we try as much as possible to involve all of you and seek to ask as many questions and put in as many comments as possible. So Troy says blessings to all the farmers. Okay, I'm seeing something happening here on the screen, so which means maybe our technician is ready to take us out of here. So if that is the case, people, enough love, guidance, and detection. See you guys Friday for another edition of Everything Agriculture. Next week, Tuesday, for another edition of Topics. Enough love.
Yeah, lately I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to turn to. Everything was green light, now we got the red. Could've had somebody else choose you instead. I be having conversations with myself cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. Got up in the morning, took a shot, it's a rock. Girl, you left my stomach in a knot. Took my lighter